Okay. You're on.
We're on?
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, Caitlin, have you ever felt this feeling before? Because I had this feeling earlier this week when I was at work. Have you ever felt like... I can hear everything.
No, it was me. I got it.
Oh.
I'm trying to have it up so I can answer people's things.
I was just like, I don't want to hear myself echo the entire episode. No.
No. Okay.
Anyways.
You got that feeling.
Have you ever had the feeling that, like, you're, like, walking around and you're confident in yourself and, like, everybody's my friend today. I'm so happy. And then you're, like, smiling at everyone, even though you, like, work in a hallway where nobody comes down to see you. But, like, the few people that do generally always make eye contact and wave at you, too. Because you're always just like, hello, human, you know, like, I never see anyone.
Yeah, you just get so excited for human contact.
Yeah, and then the one person walks by who ignores your existence completely, even though you're the only two people within, like, the room. But they ignore you the entire time. I don't know. And then you get like, oh, yeah, that's right, I hate everyone.
Yeah, it just sets you back.
Yep.
Sets you back. Yeah. I feel like that happened a lot, too, when I worked at, like, an office. And my desk was right by, a main thing. And people walk by, and I'd look up and be like, hey.
Yeah. And
okay.
it's always the people that you work with that you take it personally with. Because,
right,
you see them every day. It's never the people who are customers, like, oh, yeah, you're having a bad day, whatever. I'll probably never see you again.
You're like, please love me. I'm just trying to give you attention, and I want it back.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just a feeling that I have been getting more and more at work because I like try to make sure that I'm happy and cheerful for people,
Mm-hmm.
but then when it's not reciprocated, I turn into like an incel where I'm just like, well, I didn't want to smile at you anyway.
I do that to customers.
Yeah.
It's customers now. Like, I hate when I walk up, I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they just, like, are just, like, looking off, doing nothing. I'm like,
oh, pretending like they didn't just hear you right next to them.
Yeah, I'm like, have you ever been in the store before? And they're like, it's just looking around.
Look around.
I hate it.
They're
like, just say hi.
Just flipping stuff over, just looking at it, just, like, slowly inching away from you. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, get away from me. Help. You're the help.
You peasant.
Yeah. It's like, well, okay, that's cool. I could have just maybe given you a discount.
But now you won't get that discount.
Yeah, I have that power. No, I don't.
I don't at all. You're just giving out free paper all the time.
Yeah.
Here's the power. Paper.
Yes. Hey, so this is the Friendish podcast. I thought I'd introduce us now before we play this awesome game. We're coming to you live right now from YouTube on the Time Spent Poorly Network.
From the tubes.
From the tubes. And from our fallopian tubes. Yeah, we're going to play this game here.
Live from my tubes.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so disgusting sounding. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to play this game that I have set up. Instead of reading an article, which would be maybe helpful to other people, we're going to play this game to help each other because, you know what? We've been friends for a year now, and we started this podcast together to become better friends, and we need to work on that, yo. So here's some awkward questions from this game that I have called Hot Seat, and I want you to draw 2 cards and read them out loud to yourself.
Wait.
And then I'm going to try my best to answer them based on what little information I know about you now.
Okay.
And then you're going to be like, no, all of that's wrong, and tell me what's really up.
Okay.
Because, and who knows, maybe I'll know a thing.
So I'm going to read these out loud to myself?
Yeah, because they're in first-person context, so... So just do 2 that you like, or if there's 2, you know.
Okay.
So read one out loud.
What will my gravestone say?
Oh, God. Oh, God, this is... Okay, you know what?
Face down, ass up.
That is how I want to go. Go out in style.
You know what? Pass. Please, please just answer the... This is harder than I thought it would be. So maybe you...
That's actually what the gravestone will say. Pass.
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 Yeah, you know, just answer the questions for yourself. You think it would? Maybe? Is that too hard too? This is like a hard game now that I'm playing it for real. I've never played this game.
I don't know. I feel like I want my gravestone to say something like, had normal feet. Just like a really...
A normal guy.
Just like war size 8. Like, I don't know. Like, just like a really mundane fact that...
Or like a dating profile.
Yeah.
Like...
Oh, yeah. I
5'4".
I should just have my...
Kirby.
I just have a line on my Tinder bio. That's what I should... That's actually what it should be.
And you should use the picture from your Tinder profile.
Oh, yeah. That's even better.
Tinder bios can be a lot of fun. I had some really good ones.
Did you?
When I was on the Tinder.
Mine was awful.
I said...
Mine was just...
One of mine said... I wish somebody looked at me the same way I look at pizza.
Mine right now says, if a man isn't going to love me for my farts or posting my bowling scores on the internet, not really sure I want one.
Yeah.
It means nothing. I just stole it from Letterkenny. I feel like just something like that it's all I need.
So
So
I want
what's
my
your...
gravestone to say 6'3", 265. Male.
Mine's just going to say one word. Finally.
Oh, no. So sad.
I'm dressed in black for the occasion.
You want me to do an...
Yeah, do one more.
This one's lame. It's not funny. It's just... If sex was a game, what is the highest achievement level that I've earned? That's hard. That's hard.
Slut shaming. I mean, was that slut shaming to say that?
No, I'm proud of my achievements.
Achievements? Okay. Well, I'm going to look at mine like Skyrim stats where my thievery is at, I mean, everything's at 0, I think, except for maybe God, I haven't played Skyrim in a long time. I can't do it.
Mine is like that crappy dagger and cloth outfit you start out with.
Oh yeah, just like right at the beginning.
Just like yeah.
A noob.
You're not a noob. Wait, is it supposed to be like
Oh.
how kinky we are or how many people we've slept with? I'm confused about the question.
Well, first off, I'm going to say, hi, Hazel. I don't know where the camera's at. That's my roommate's kid.
Sup?
Kid. Oh, that's nothing's coming out. My roommate's child. So what I'm trying to say. And apparently she's yelling at the TV because she loves me.
Aw.
Yeah. I feel like, now I'm going to talk about sex in front of this 3-year-old.
Sweet deal.
Yeah. Sex was a...
What's the
Man.
question?
If sex was a game, what is the highest achievement level that I earned? Like, I feel like I've unlocked a lot of stuff. Like, I don't know. Yeah, if
I'm the achievement hunter of poon.
Okay, how about a different question? How about if you could compare your sex life to any video game, what would the video game be?
I don't know if I play a lot.
Well then, yeah,
I just
choose
play,
the
like,
one that you know.
Lego
Minecraft?
game. No.
Minecraft?
Lego games. I'm just constantly
Crash Bandicoot.
breaking people down.
No,
and
I meant
building
Minesweep.
Solitaire.
I think mine would be Yoshi's Island. Just a lot of like tongue action going on. Just like boing. Well, I can't even do his tongue noise. Yep.
Yeah.
What about you,
Solitaire.
Derek? Solitaire? Yours not solitaire.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yours is RuneScape. Don't even lie.
RuneScape. Feel like
Or
Dr.
all
Mario.
those old Tomb Raiders where the breasts are triangular.
Oh, Tomb Raider with the like badly shaped Tomb Raider boobs.
Yeah. They're pyramids.
Or Killer Instinct.
I did play a lot of Pikmin.
Pac-Man or Pikmin?
Pikmin.
Pikmin, like for.
I feel like that could be fitting,
for
you know?
GameCube.
Yeah, on the GameCube. I'm just constantly trying to find things to trade them in for sex, I guess.
Yes. At least none of us said Mario Kart. Because, I mean, try to dig at the metaphor out of that game.
Can you imagine trying to have sex and also throwing bananas around? Like,
Yeah. It's just a lot of
Slipping
it's a lot
everywhere.
of bumper cars, you know? And a lot of slipping and sliding and knocking each other over. It's a violent kind of analogy.
Mario Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine. Okay. Anyways, moving on. So you did 2. I'm going to do 2 of this game. So that was Hot Seat, the game.
check it out.
Yeah,
I
you
bet
can buy
it's
it
on Amazon.
It is on Amazon. That's where I got it. And I got this game. Shout out to one of our favorite online YouTube gaming peoples is Funhouse or Rooster Teeth. I guess more like Rooster Teeth, but we're Funhouse fans. I'm gonna just draw 2.
Okay.
This game is called $1 Million Butt, and you draw 2 cards to match. It's kind of like a weird, almost like Cards Against Humanity, but not really, because you get to talk a little bit about it. For $1 million, one of your family member, or $1 million, but one of your family members will make global news for doing something really fucking stupid.
Oh, I would take $1 million for my family member to do something stupid.
Yeah,
like
that's an easy one.
Like no shit. Like I'd be proud. I'd be like, look at this idiot.
Especially if I got to choose.
I would take $1 million if it meant I found out that I was like Hitler's like immediate relative. Like that's $1 million.
Yeah.
I'll pay to be forgotten.
No. Okay, the next one says $1 million, but every time you hear music, you get the feeling that you didn't wipe your butt completely.
Oh no.
That's a lot of times where you're just uncomfortably trying to wiggle your ass cheeks to be
and that's like
oh no.
Anywhere in public, you're just constantly like.
You feel like, yeah, it's like,
Okay.
is it a wedgie or is it like, is it moist? I don't know. Is it?
Can you smell it?
Yeah. There's a lot of questions. And you hear music everywhere. You'd have to wear
Exactly.
earplugs.
I mean, there's people out there who probably already kind of feel like this anyway, so like it's a gimme for them, though, right?
Yeah.
But I guess if I just had the feeling, so if I know that I'm just getting the feeling, but also that I'm like, it might be worth $1 million. You know, you're just like, well,
Well, with
for
$1
music,
million,
I just got to power through it.
yeah.
Got that
Well, with
weird-
$1 million, even if it is true, like you apparently you just don't wipe very well. You have $1 million, you can buy as many clean underwear as you want.
You could pay someone to wipe your butt for
Yeah. You could just wear a thong all the time. I don't know. Or no underwear. Or no pants.
you. Just nothing.
Just air it out completely all the time.
Just
Just get a surgery to remove your butt cheeks so that you never get that feeling ever again.
aw.
You're just an asshole in the back. No clapping.
How hard is it just to not listen to music anymore?
It'd be really tough. You'd have
Like,
to wear earplugs
'Cause,
all
like,
the time.
restaurants, stores, like they're always
Yes.
playing music.
Yeah.
So
everywhere.
even if you're trying to avoid, like, you could do it at home or in
If
your
you watch
car.
a movie, I guess they have soundtracks.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's impossible almost.
When you're
unless
in an elevator,
Yeah.
that'd be awful. You're just listening to that terrible music and your butt's weird.
And also, it also begs the question, what is considered music? Somebody tapping their toe? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not that big of a deal because you're just going to be like, whoa, I feel a shark coming on. But, yeah. So that was the game. We played
all,
2
folks.
games. We're going to play them again probably in the next episode. We'll switch it up. I'll do hot seat and you can do
Okay.
$1 million, but so yeah, hey, welcome to the Friendish podcast, episode 3. Today we're going to be talking about our ex-best friends.
That's why you're dressed this way.
Yeah.
She's in mourning.
And it's so insensitive. It's not appropriate. This was a bad plan. But yeah,
That's why I'm dressed like this. Like a bum.
well, I know, because we're supposed to for this episode we wanted to really like emphasize that we don't really like talking about this stuff. So we want to be comfortable. We want to be in our comfy clothes and we're eating our comfort food. What's your comfort food for this episode?
Well, so we talked about cooking comfort food.
Yeah, we did talk about
But
cooking.
when I really thought, I was like, oh, what do I make? I was like, I love mac and cheese,
I love
obviously.
mac and
But I like making that for people, and I like sharing it. Plus, I'm really good at it. So,
Could you eat like a whole box of mac and cheese by yourself?
oh.
I could easily
I
do
could eat-
it,
Yeah, no, that's...
and I'm not proud of it.
Oh, I do that regularly. No, I don't, but I should.
can do it and have done it.
I've done
Yeah.
it too. It's a
lot.
low point.
Yeah. A
But
box?
I try to be like, no, you don't need the whole box, Brie. You don't need it. That's like, you know.
Well, I've done it because I'm like, this mac and cheese, if it's from a box, like, it's not going to save. I guess I have to eat it or throw it away. Anyways, I brought jalapeno Cheetos, sour candy, and a Diet Coke. Because
Damn.
if I'm feeling, like, sad or just, like, down, like, I just want a snack. And I want snacks that, like, are like, Diet Coke is awful for you. but it's a weakness for me. And every once in a while, it's kind of nostalgic. I just need that sweet liquid gold.
Yeah, I get it. One of my comfort foods is like basically anything that you can pop in a microwave or in the oven and then have it out in my mouth. So, so like pizza. I love top ramen, which is what I made today. And it's spicy top ramen. I usually, when I'm actually trying to impress people or myself, I'll put like shrimp in it, some vegetables, some like onions, and I always put an egg in it, and then I always put Szechuan sauce in it.
Class it up a bit.
Yes, because I love spicy ramen. And then I have wine because wine is an old friend. She's
been there for you.
She warms you up.
Can I say mine? My comfort food. Can I say mine?
No. Oh yeah, you can do it.
This is also like a guilty one too. Like I feel bad for liking it, but also I do eat it.
I'm nervous.
I will order the hot wings from Domino's Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
As well as the cheesy bacon like bread.
Yeah, make them together.
And then eat those two things in their entirety in one setting. And I'm pretty sure that's about like 5,000 calories right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
And
the other thing is
I do not feel good after I do that.
I like to get Chinese food. And like a shitty American Chinese food, obviously.
Yeah.
But of course I have to get the one that's like, I got the almond chicken, sweet and sour pork, I want the fried prawns, I want the chow mein, the egg roll, need the soup, and I probably need some pot stickers. And I do the same, like, I'll just be like, it's bad. Like, I'm like, this is so good. And then later I'm like,
wow.
Nope. Not good.
The Golden Dragon has the Hungry Guys special, which is like most
Mountains
of
of
yeah, like
food.
just so
and
much
it's a mountain
food.
of food,
Yeah.
and I will eat that in its entirety in one setting, and
Yeah.
I feel very bad about myself.
I mean, to be honest, if I'm looking for comfort food, I'll just start shoving whatever's in the cupboards in my mouth. Like, if I'm depressed enough, I'll find anything and make it work, you know?
I'm gonna eat this.
Yeah. That's how we've been doing with our diet, is we just don't buy the stuff. If we don't buy it, we can't eat it.
Yeah, that's
Problem solved.
Yeah.
So, there's no snack food in our house right now. It's kind of shitty.
I have
Except for pickles. We got pickles.
I have a secret box of Oreos that I already told my roommate, so it's not a secret anyways, of Oreos and Cheez-Its on my shelf in my cupboard, or not my cupboard, my closet. So at night I like go and grab like one Oreo and eat it in bed. It's like, this is my treat. You deserve this one Oreo. It's the kind that are dipped like in white fudge. Oh, they're so good. But yeah, it's weird that I just I'm like,
You're like a squirrel.
yeah, I'm like hoarding them away. But I've been really good about only eating one.
That's how I've been with the bar of chocolate that I bought a couple days ago. I only eat one little square of it a day. And it's good.
Yeah, you just gotta
It's
treat
my
yourself
treat. Yeah.
to the tiniest little thing.
I mean, I'm obviously not doing very good today because I'm eating ramen and wine, but c'est la vie.
Wine has those antioxidants. It's healthy for you.
All right. So, moving on. Okay, I do have one little question that I wanted to ask you, because I had this experience earlier this week when I made chicken in the oven, and since you're a chef, I was hoping that you could clarify something for me. So,
You have to turn the oven on.
yeah. It actually has a lot to do with that. So, I normally, if I think about it, I'll take the chicken out of the freezer and let it thaw all day, and then when I get home, I'll do whatever I'm going to do with it. And when I got home, I realized I didn't take out the chicken, so I just was like, oh, it'll be fine. So I put it in the pan with some olive oil and some water to, like, I don't know why. I was like, yeah, this sounds like it's right. And then I put all the spices and stuff on it, and I covered it in tin foil, and I put it in the oven at, like, 350 for 2 hours maybe. And let it cook and stuff. And it cooked all the way through when we took it out. And it was actually really good on the salad. We cut it up and put it on the salad. And the chicken breast that we only had one. But we had two in there, but we only had one for the salads that we cut up and put on the salads. And the other one I was going to save for lunch the next day. And that chicken breast was good that we had with the salads. But the chicken breast that I cut up and put in for my lunch, it was awful. And I don't know what it was, if I was like, because it was like rubbery and the texture was just like, I don't know, rubbery is the only thing, chewy, like it wasn't moist or tender like the other chicken breast. So I'm wondering if it had to do with the fact that I had microwaved it or to warm it up again, or if it had something to do with the chicken breast itself, or if it had anything to do with the fact that I had not thawed it out the previous night and I just plopped it in the oven.
I don't think the thawing it out part has anything to do with it. I think the microwave is a huge thing. I don't use the microwave hardly ever. Because it just ruins food no matter what, especially like proteins, because it's going to just suck all the moisture out. So that'd be my guess, is like ultimately that's it. But also you said you put water in it. So if it's like sometimes when you braise proteins and then take them out of their whatever braising liquid, they tend to like dry out because all that liquid is in the pot, like it's left. And so you want to put like a sauce or something over it. So it might have just already been leaning towards being a little dry. And then when you put it in the microwave, then those like... it made it like rubbery, like there's no moisture, so it just made it weird and rubbery.
So to prevent that from happening, should I have put sauce or marinade on it while it was in the oven or while it was in the microwave?
Maybe both. I mean, definitely like while you're cooking probably would help.
Okay. I didn't put any marinade on it at all. I just put spices.
Yeah, that would help make it a little more tender.
I have a running theory that the microwave is the worst invention ever and that the toaster is the best invention ever.
Yeah, we don't have a microwave here.
Doesn't like toast.
Toast is great.
And have you ever eaten a corn dog made in the oven as opposed to making it in the microwave where you just blow out the side?
Yeah, I haven't had a microwave for a long, like 5 years, and then I moved in, and now like where I live there's a microwave like built in, and I'll use it when I'm reheating leftovers. Everyone, but I always get mad when I do it. I'm like, I should have just taken the extra 30 seconds and heat it on the stove or the oven like I normally would. It's always better. Yeah. It's just like every time I do it, I'm like, I fucked up again.
The only reason so we had a microwave and then we threw it away last year because of things I don't want to talk about. But
now I kind of want to know.
No, it'll be a mystery until.
Yeah, we're gonna bring this. Yeah. Ooh.
So
the mystery of the microwave.
This will be one of your ex-best friends. You're going to talk about the microwave.
Yes. So we threw it away, and now we have been a whole year without it. And I do say I don't really miss it, except for the only thing that I ever used to really use it for was heating up coffee again, which I do miss that. That's usually what I use it for. Oh, yeah,
sometimes I do it for heating up water.
And I do like having popcorn from a bag.
No. And I miss those. I used to make those... You buy those like steamed vegetables in the bag.
Oh yeah,
the frozen ones that you just throw in the microwave. God, those are the best. And
yeah, but now it's just as easy to just boil them.
It's just as easy.
Yeah,
it really is.
Speaking of the microwave, it just made me think. It just like clicked. Also, there is just a sticker on your fridge that says microwave, which is kind of comical.
Weird.
But,
why,
yeah.
Zach Swan? Why do you have a sticker that says microwave? Just microwaves. Stovall? What?
I think it's a brand of microwaves.
Is that the brand of the fridge? No.
I think those are all band stickers.
There's a band called Microwave.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. But in high school, I don't know why, we were in pep band, and at one point, this guy started yelling, "Put down my microwave," like yelling at the other team when they had the ball. So if the other team had the ball and we wanted it back, we would yell, "Put down my microwave," and no one got it, and it like just popped in my head. I'm like, why did we do that? But we got like shirts made. It said like band on the front, and on the back it's like, "Put down my microwave." It's really weird.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Bunch of little nerds.
High school was awful, actually. But it was good times sometimes. Rarely.
Times when they were good.
Yeah, we were naive about the good times. Weren't we?
I liked high school. I was. I have the unpopular opinion of really enjoying my high school experience.
I enjoyed it until it was shitty.
Until you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that if I could go back and do it again, I actually just wouldn't. I probably would just be like, no. Actually, I don't know. Junior high was way worse because I was very overweight and did not put on makeup ever. I know this is like really shitty to say and stuff because who cares? Everybody's awkward and gross in junior high and stuff, but I didn't have my shit together.
Which is okay.
I know, but I was like, so I wore tie-dye every single day, like head to toe for 7th grade year.
I was not cool in junior high. That was my awkward phase. My stepmom was like, let me show you how to do your makeup. And for an adult woman, she looked great. But, like, putting that much makeup and the way she did it, like...
On you?
On me, I looked...
Cake face?
Crazy. Like, I was a girl that was, like, going from 6th grade to 7th grade. I'm going to make an impression. I'm going to show up with these, like, crazy amount of eyeliner. And, like, one time, one of my best friends, he looked over me in band and was like... Do you have powder on your face? And I was so mortified.
Oh my god, I hate it when guys point that shit out.
I
Just
was like,
keep your fucking mouth shut when somebody's got a cake face.
Yeah, in my head,
we know.
Like, yeah, I do. It's called makeup.
You roll with it though.
Yeah,
I had a guy.
I was so mad though.
In like 6th grade. One guy got real up in my face, and I thought, because I was a tomboy back then, and I was really resentful of the fact that I was the first to bloom in my class. Like I had boobs. And I was going through puberty first out of everyone. I was getting taller than the boy. So the boy walks up, and I'm, like, looking down at him because he's tiny. And he's, like, looking in my face. And he's like, are those freckles or zits? And I'm like...
oh, no!
And I'm like... like, in my deep, deep voice that's deeper than his.
like, crying?
Like, crying, yeah. Like...
Oh.
They used to call me the Jolly Red Giant. It was mean.
This is really sad.
Yeah, but those weren't my best friends or ex-best friends.
Good.
They were just
assholes.
They were just kids. Kids are assholes.
Kids are mean.
Yeah.
Kids. Hazel's mean to me sometimes. Well, she used to tell me not to laugh. Like, I would laugh, and she'd just look at me and be like, stop laughing. And then it kind of made me laugh more, but I'd be like, why are you picking on me? But now we're best friends, so.
Yeah. My mom bought me a pair of... I begged her and begged her for this, and she bought me a pair of Jinko jeans.
Yeah.
I'm 34, so please kindly remember my age. I'm 34, so I really wanted a pair of Jinko jeans, and I wore them to junior high one time and got made fun of, and then I never wore them again. And they were like $50 jeans.
Oh, shit.
And my mom was so mad.
Chaz just wrote in and said, he feels you, Brie. He still gets called the Jolly Red Giant. Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, it's not nice, you know? That's like the Ginger's N-word. I'm just kidding. It's not even close.
Yeah, I've never got called that being a
The
Ginger.
N-word?
No. No, I feel like I've been called that.
Ooh,
whoa.
Yeah. But, I forgot.
Yeah. They're the mean nicknames.
Oh, I'm just too short to be called giant. Like,
yeah.
5'2" on a good hair day is not. They're just like.
Well, kids will just find what you look like physically, and they'll just roll from there.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, we're not creative, but you have glasses, you 4-eye freak. You know, it's stupid stuff like that.
Two things. I have a question for both of you.
I gotta take my shoe off.
First question is, as real gingers, natural gingers, did you ever get called, like, did anybody ever say, do you, like, you don't have a soul, A, and then B, is that a insult that ever actually hurt anyone's feelings? The soul comment?
I think immediately when I first started hearing it, I might have been like taken aback, like, what does that even mean? And then and then like the dark goth girl in me was like, yeah, I don't have a soul. Like, because I was like super into vampires and stuff.
I felt like I didn't get it. Like, I was like, yeah,
and
okay.
I'm like, and if you're not careful, I'll take your soul too.
But then I embraced it. But
yeah,
I was a step kid, so my stepmom.
Oh, the redheaded stepchild. God damn, that is so mean.
So that was rough.
I think the meanest thing that I heard one girl say to me, she was like adamantly convinced that this was a thing. And maybe it is. I don't know. I don't want to do research into it. But she was like, you do realize that redheads are mutants, right? And like you all came from the same screwed up genetics. And I was like, what?
There is something like that, but
and I'm like, can we like
X-Men ever?
I know.
I don't think it's like a negative.
Well, it just the way she said it made it seem like I was like other. Like, I was an other to her, and so she was just like, I don't know, like, disabled, maybe? Like she was just like, the way she said it was obviously just mean.
Yeah,
and,
like she tried to make it like
yeah.
like something was wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like you're like an inbred.
But in a way, it's like when some thing like traits genetically morph, and I mean that's how it all has been throughout everything. We used to be monkeys. Like it's only gonna get better from here, I think. Pretty soon.
That's what you should have told her. Like, did you know you were a monkey first?
Well, pretty soon, like we're going to get into like way into the future, like that South Park show.
Wall-E. It's gonna be Wall-E.
Well, no, I don't want to. I don't like Wall-E. No,
That's how it's gonna be.
I don't want it to be that way. But what I'm trying to say is, we're gonna get so far into the future where everybody has had sex with each other enough that we're all one skin color, we're all speaking one language. It's that South Park episode.
We'll all be brothers, uncles, sisters, aunts, like just one.
Yeah.
One big family.
Well, according to the Bible, we were from the beginning.
My stepdad's sister is also his cousin.
What?
We live in Idaho.
I do admit, I had a crush on my first cousin. Oh, I guess second
did you
second cousin in first grade before I realized he was my cousin. And when I told my mom,
Derek has now got a pen and paper to figure out this lineage that I just.
But I thought he was the cutest guy, and I was like, why am I even attracted to him? And I think it was because my mom like weirdly was like, isn't he cute? And I was just like, at the time was like, yeah, I guess. Like, yeah. I
want to kiss him.
He kicks that ball pretty good. You know, we're in first grade. Not a lot of expectations here. Like, yeah, he's nice to me.
Give you the answer to the riddle, Derek?
Is there a riddle?
Oh, just how my stepdad's sister is also his cousin. Sisters. He has two sisters that are also his cousins.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that your dad...
Stepdad.
Had sex with a cousin.
No. So, my grandpa was married and had 2 children, and then he got a divorce, married that lady's sister, and then had another kid, which is now my uncle's.
Dude.
Yeah, so his half-sisters are also his cousins.
Anyone in the world out there. There's so many people you could marry and fucking have kids with, but you chose
You just popped right over, yeah.
He was all like, yeah, you know,
I can't wait to go to the next family reunion to meet my next wife.
Yeah, just because it's Idaho doesn't mean you have to be a hoe. We had to make that joke eventually, right? I know we're all sick and tired of it, but the internet's not.
Oh, that's what my gravestone could say.
Idaho!
Yeah, just because we're in Idaho doesn't mean I was a hoe. But I was.
I want my gravestone to be actually made of a potato.
They just constantly are replacing it because it's always rotting.
Well, I'm hoping it'll just grow.
Oh.
Grow into a potato plant, and then people can come pick my potatoes. That grow from my dead corpse.
Yum.
Yeah. I'm sure it's nutritious.
Yeah.
Anyways, so should we move on and actually talk about what we said we were going to talk about? Which is the saddest stuff. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about ex-friends.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about ex-best friends. We're going to mostly try to keep it vague because we're nice.
We're more trying to, like, talk about, like...
We want to help.
Like, how did it happen? So, a little brief thing. Why? And then whether we know, like, was it us? Was it them? What were the results? How
did we get over it?
Yeah, that's more...
Or if we're not over it.
Yeah.
And then also what we learned from the experience.
Exactly. Like, rather than bashing the people or the situation or whatever it may be, it's more about what we took from it and how we coped with it and the circumstances.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be more... We're hoping that by talking about the experience and showing the recovery and how to get over it and what we learned, that you listeners will be able to like relate to it in a way that helps you if you've ever been through this, or maybe you have, or maybe you will us. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, do if you have any questions, comments, concerns. We've gotten a lot of good feedback so far, and I really appreciate it.
Preguntas.
Yeah, if you guys got anything to say,
a lot of concerns happen.
Yeah, and it's really nice. I definitely appreciate the feedback because we want to be better and make it easy for you guys to listen to.
Yeah, and we're new to this.
Yeah, so definitely new.
Just give it to us straight.
Our email though is our Instagram is @Friendish Podcast on Instagram, and our email is friendishpodcasts@gmail.com.
Yep.
So, and there'll be links to that and stuff.
And your
everywhere.
Twitter is Friendish Pod.
Yeah.
They could also slip into them DMs.
Yeah.
Slide on in.
Yes, with
The water's
your problems. Give us your problems, and we will solve them.
fine. We will try to give you some mediocre advice.
Yeah, as people who've lived at least 25 years on this earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
27. Almost 28.
So as a combined, that's math that I'm not going to do. How many is that? 20, 30?
You're 25.
25 and you're 27.
I'll be 28 in March, though. But it'd be 32.
Hey.
32 and 80%. That's not how you do.
That's not right. What?
25 plus 27
27
is not 32.
It's
Over 50.
I meant to say 50. Oh, no. We have to cancel the show.
This is over. We're done.
That's a red face you got there.
This Diet Coke just went straight to my head.
It's all right. The show's done. We're
I
quitting.
said it like 5 times.
You know what? You know what? It's okay. We didn't go to school for math. We went to school for art. You know what? We got them. You know, it does scare me because you're supposed to know a little bit of math as a cook. But you know, it's all right if you put a little more sugar in that cake versus the salt. I've done that.
Just like switch the flour for sugar.
Yeah.
Salt.
All of it.
Can't.
Should I use in this cake vegetable oil or olive oil?
No.
They're the same thing, right? I'll just use this Crisco.
I mean, you can use all of those fats.
Really?
Yep.
To make a disgusting
Fun fact, if you have a
Sugar
recipe
cake.
that calls for butter.
mayo. You can use mayo too.
In replace of eggs.
Yes.
You can use that. But if you have a recipe that calls for butter and you have oil, you just use 75% of whatever it calls. So it calls for a cup of butter. You use 3/4 cup olive oil. And your dessert will turn out the same.
My mom made cupcakes with mayonnaise in them once.
Oh, yeah. I did that like 3 weeks ago because we ran out of eggs at work.
Yeah, my mom did it, and she's like, try this cupcake.
Yeah.
She had like this
Got mayo
grin.
in it.
And no, she didn't say anything. And I was like, what did you do to it? And she's like, you'll like it, I promise. And I ate it, and I was like, it's good. And she's like, there was mayonnaise in it. And I was just like...
Did she just whisper that in your ear as you were falling asleep at night?
Yeah, she waited till I was going to sleep.
She was here. It was weird.
Derek is like, why is your mom here? With
Yeah.
a tub of
Can I have a
mayonnaise.
cupcake?
She just walked around with a tub of mayonnaise all the time.
Fun fact, while I love mayonnaise on food, that is one of those condiments that if it touches my skin, I will have a freak out.
Me too. Like, you're
and
just like,
destroy
"Huh?"
everything around me.
Yeah.
Which is why we can't use it as lube anymore.
Anymore. You
Anymore.
tried it once.
You know, it was like, he was like,
For me.
so
You're like, Derek, dip
he
your
was
dick in this.
he was facing the wall, and he heard me start unscrewing it. And I was like, when I dipped my hand into it, and it made that like farting noise, where it was just like, and I just like slapped it on his asshole.
The visual
'Cause he
now
had
is
his
Derek
cheeks-
is just...
He had his cheeks spread, and I just went right there, and I was like, "You ready, honey?" And he just immediately clenched his butt cheeks and could smell it. And
Move on.
okay, we try to get creative in bed.
Man, you should have a better sex achievement then with
Nah, it's because it's not real.
Achievement unlocked.
The imaginary achievement for an imaginary sex life.
Move on.
This is sad. Just that statement alone was the saddest thing
You
you
know
said
what?
all day.
I have imaginary sex fantasies that'll never be fulfilled. So
Well, have you...
because they involve mayonnaise.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding. His
Stop.
face.
I'm getting you guys so much mayo for your wedding.
Good.
Show up with a big tub of mayo and a tarp.
Put a bow on it. Dude, I want to roll around in it. I do.
I went to Warp Tour, and there was this booth there that was like giving out free shirts for people to like put peanut butter in their hair and stuff. And then there was, yeah, I'm not kidding. There's like this booth there. They're giving out free shirts, and this girl got a free shirt for putting mayonnaise like on her hair, like from this booth, which the shirt was.
The shirt is not worth it.
No.
And
it's Warped Tour. It's the summer at the
Ew.
Gorge. It is 110
and
degrees.
she just had to leave it in there, huh?
all day. And
oh gosh.
like later on that day was like in the pit, and she like
smelled
so bad, and she almost like ran into me, and I had to like recuse myself from anywhere near her because I was so scared that she was gonna accidentally touch me.
Yeah, you definitely should have ran up to her specifically, vomited on her hair,
Ugh.
and then ran away because I'm sure she wouldn't have noticed.
I still think about that.
Nightmares. Yeah.
Haunts me.
Okay, tell me about your friends.
You want me to go first?
I don't know.
You don't have a notebook today. It's intimidating.
I just forgot it.
You know, it seems like you just know your shit. That's what it is.
No, I just forgot my notebook. I was hoping you wouldn't tell everyone.
Sorry. I mean, people.
Now
can
everyone
see.
knows.
People can see on the YouTube.
Yeah,
because
and
we're
I've
streaming
been
live.
holding my notebook up the whole time.
But for our listeners on Spotify and iTunes, she definitely has a notebook.
Thank you. It's very cool. Here it is. Look at this paper.
All right, I'll talk about my first, probably most traumatic one that I went through, which is, we're gonna call her Voldemort. This is we nicknamed our friends for our sakes and for theirs, because it's just not nice to name names in this situation. Not that we're going to just shit talk people. We're doing it because for the most part I'm pretty over all this shit. Like, I mean, I definitely have dreams of them every once in a while, which is weird.
Covered in mayonnaise.
I wish. No, it's just me crying. No, the dreams are like really weird. Like they're dreams like nothing ever happened and we're all hanging out again, which is like almost worse than anything else, because it's like my brain is just like, hey, remember these people in your lives that you loved and you're never gonna see again because they hate your guts? Let's have a dream about them. Like,
that's how the subconscious works.
Yeah.
It's a dick.
Anyways, so my first friend, Voldemort, I met her in late junior high, in like 9th grade, and we became fast friends because I don't know, she was like super goth in a way. Like, I don't know, goth, I think it's more like emo. And I was like this super butch Christian girl who was like trying to dress like a woman for the first time in her life.
Wearing all that tie-dye.
Well, that was the year before.
Oh.
This time I was like, I'm going to dress like a girl. So I got but I was like unsure how women dress. So I bought like a long jean skirt and a bedazzled like floral blouse that showed off.
Please find these photos.
They're bad. And then I like curled my hair obnoxiously. I looked like a 30-year-old Mormon mom who's already had 8 kids. Like, I was fat and I was a ginger. I didn't wear makeup because I wasn't ready for makeup yet. Anyways, so I met her after another friend kind of was like, I had a falling out with just another best friend, but I don't really consider her a best friend anymore. Just because, like, looking back on the thing, it was toxic from the beginning, and I just kind of knew it. Anyways, moving on, I meet Voldemort, and she accepts me into her group because my previous friend was like, whoa, like, gays are bad, and whoa, you shouldn't be interested in boys, at least not fictional boys like Sonic the Hedgehog and Yu-Gi-Oh, because those are who I bone in my dreams. That was that friend. And I was like, actually, I kind of want to diddle a penis eventually. Little 15-year-old me. Like, I was like, I think I like men.
I have a vagina that would like to meet a penis.
Yes, I think I like men, which was contrary to what everybody else in that class thought. They thought I was a lesbian because I was butched all through most of junior high. And anyways, so I meet this group of friends and they're all emo and really cool and like obnoxious. They're all yelling penis out throughout the hallway. It's really weird and cringy looking back at it. Anyways, my friend Voldemort accepts me into this group, and you can kind of tell she's like the mama bear of the group because everybody goes to hang out at her house after school. Everybody goes and wants to like talk to her. It was just that kind of dynamic.
I have the hiccups. I'm so sorry.
And we were really close, and for about 3 years, I'd say most of high school, we were just like fast friends, always going to each other's houses, always hanging out. It was a type of friendship where, like we've talked about, where you sit in the car and you talk for a long time. You spend the night at each other's houses. I would spend the night at her house on the weekends because my family life at the time at my house was not great. So I would spend a lot of my time at her house whenever I could.
Yeah.
And plus her dad was like super chill and did not care like what we all did. Like we had the run of the house and he was always up in the attic in his room like smoking pot.
Solid parenting.
It was. Like, looking back, I was like, good on him for letting us run around the house naked. Like, a couple of times that happened.
Ugh.
We seen each other's bodies. So, yeah. By the way, Voldemort, nice tits. Really nice tits. Like,
oh my gosh, these hiccups are going to be the end of me.
That's okay. I can scare you.
Okay.
I can scare you if you want.
Yeah, maybe eventually.
Ma! No.
Didn't
okay.
work?
No.
I was staring.
You're supposed to hold your breath for 10 seconds. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if it didn't work, do it again.
Okay, you keep talking. I'll just keep holding my breath.
Okay.
If I pass out, just...
I'll scare you. In the end, we all eventually die alone.
That is scary.
Oh, it didn't work.
The hiccup didn't like it. Anyway, so where was I?
So great boobs.
Yeah, so we went throughout our whole high school, and it was really great. Like, I look back on those times fondly. I ended up having a crush on a dude from our friend group, and at the time I was like, I was obnoxious about it, and I was like, why don't we just date already? Because by then I'd conformed to the non-conformers, where I was a neon goth, where I dressed in a lot of Hot Topic, wasted a lot of money on Hot Topic, and I had like Paramore hair, and I was fat. Anyways, so I asked this guy, who was her brother's best friend. I won't name any names, but we'll call him Carrot Fingers. Okay. Sweaty Carrot Fingers.
Oh.
Sweaty Carrot Fingers. He knows I'm talking about him now. And I asked him out, and he said, no, I'm not really looking to date anybody. And this was 11th grade. And then the next year, my friend Voldemort asked him out, and he said, no, I'm your brother's best friend, and that's weird. Like, I don't want to be interested in you because I'm his best friend, and I'd rather spend time with him than you. Like, that'd just be a weird dynamic, which is understandable from his point of view. So, because, I don't know, I was a horrible person in high school, and I basically stalked the guy and was like, listen, she's pretty devastated that you said no because she's had a crush on you for a long time. And he's like, well, you had a crush on me for like a year too. And he, and I'm like, yeah, but this is different. She really, really likes you. I can tell she's really upset. You should really try to give her a chance. And I spent a long time trying to convince him to date her, and it backfired because then we started dating.
Oh. Okay.
So I started dating that guy.
Okay.
It was bad.
I kind of thought, I was like, ooh, is this where it's going? But then I didn't expect the twist. Okay.
What a twist. So I started dating that guy, and to be real, we dated for like 3 solid years after, like 1 year of senior year and 2 years after high school. But by basically doing that ended that friendship pretty awfully. Like, when she found out some pretty shitty things went down, like, she had a history of, like, mental illness, and so she also, like, self-harmed and stuff. And I walked in on a lot of things that I didn't want to walk in on. And so I think even though I really wanted to still be friends with her because I loved her, I can say that I loved all my best friends that I've ever had. Like, they were sisters, and so I tried to help her out, and I was like, I can't help, like, how he feels and stuff. And he's like, she's, and looking back, it was really shitty of me to date him after trying to get him to date her or whatever. But I still liked him too. Boys suck. Like, if I have any advice for anybody who's still in high school, like, just fuck them. You don't have to date them. Just fuck them and move on, because you're going to ruin friendships. Then just pass them like a torch, Like, I don't know. I don't know. Don't listen to me. Anyways, so she ended up kind of taking what I would say is the low road. She started telling all of our other friends to kind of start to ostracize me, and there were a couple times when I'd try to go to her house, and she would, because I mean, we could just go over to her house whenever we wanted. That was kind of how it was towards the end. We could just pop over whenever we wanted, because her dad usually was never there, or if he was high and up in the attic, and they were always just downstairs cleaning, or like this one time they were cleaning, and I was trying to get out of my house because something was happening there that I don't know, I don't want to talk about that, but so I basically wanted to leave my house, go to her house to get away. And I just told her, I was like, yeah, I'm going to head down. And she was like, oh, or I wasn't talking to her, but I was talking to my other friend at the time. And I was like, I want to come down to the house because I need to get out of here. And she's like, oh, well, we're cleaning right now, so I don't know if you want to come over. And I'm like, I will help clean the house. I don't care. I just can't be here at my house. And she was like trying to skirt around it. And I was just like, whatever, I'm going to be there in 20 minutes. Because I lived really close. I could just walk. So I walked down to her house. And they weren't cleaning. They weren't doing anything they were saying they were doing. They were just chilling. And as soon as I walked in, though, they were like, all right, we'll start cleaning. Like, to, like, you know what I mean?
Cover up what they said.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. What do you want me to do? And they told me what I was going to do. And then I was the only one there at the time who had an iPod. It was back when iPods were just starting. And I put it on a speaker and stuff and started playing some music just on shuffle. And she freaked the fuck out. She was like, I hate your shitty music, and I want you to fuck out of my house. And, like, they all just kind of, like, told me to get the fuck out. They're like, you are upsetting her, you're upsetting Voldemort, and you need to get the fuck out of here. And I was like, what did I do? I just came down to, like, help clean, and I put music on, and then all of a sudden everybody just freaked out on me. And nobody tried to comfort me. They literally just shoved me out the door. And I walked home and I was like super shocked about what had just happened. It was weird. I can't even describe looking back on it, like how weird it felt just to be like literally shoved out a door. And that was kind of the end of it. I mean, I still had to go to high school with her that last year, but I wasn't able to hang out with any of the friends that I had from that group. So I was kind of like ostracized from the people that I didn't do anything to, or, you know, so, like, I had no friends in high school the last year, and my senior year, except for the guy I was dating, which was the guy she wanted to date.
How long had you been dating that guy before that situation happened of you going over to their house? Like, was that, like...
within months. I
mean...
So
you were, like, newly still
They
dating
had just
him?
started, like, as soon as they found out, it was a slow process of starting to...
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Was it, like... It wasn't, like,
but within,
2 days.
But
within
a month or a month and a half, they had just started slowly backing away from me, stopped talking to me, stopped texting me. They just didn't want much to do with me because I think they realized how much of an effect it had on Voldemort. And so, like, I remember the guy, Sweaty Carrot Fingers, he messaged me one day because she had asked him to go on a walk with him and so they could talk about things after we had already started dating. And I was like, yeah, dude, definitely go and, like, make sure that she's okay and that she can move on, because I still loved her and stuff, and I still wanted her to be okay and, like, be okay with me. So I was like, anything it'll take to, like, get back to where I was, because, I mean, I've told so much. I mean, she was part of my life to the point where she knew too much about me to be okay to just drop me. Where I was like, please don't leave my life. Like, I love you. Yeah. Anyways, so they went on this walk, and he ended up telling her his feelings about it, the situation, and she ended up telling him about, like, I've loved you for a long time and all this stuff, and it's just high school shit. So fucking stupid high school shit. Like, I'm not even dating this guy anymore, and looking back, it's just like, God, like, what were we doing? Yeah. And anyways, he ended up doing his best to, like, tell her how it was, and he's like, I still like you as a friend, and I really like your brother. He's my best friend, so, you know. And she ended up, like, she kind of went off the deep end at one point. Like, she had, I'm not going to talk about the deep end that she did. Anyways, moving on from that. So, like, years later, me and him are still dating, and I'm in college at the U of I, and he's still living in Lewiston, and, like, things are okay. We obviously break up later that year because, yeah, of things. And, but in the meantime, I find out that her, like, Voldemort's dad is, like, dying. And I'm going to school, and this is, like, so I had moved from U of I back down to the Valley to go to the community college for graphic design because it was cheaper and they didn't have as many, like, stupid requirements. So, came down to the Valley, was taking all these classes. Turns out she is in every single class that I'm in.
Oh.
Yeah, every single class because she's taken the same degree. And that was, like, obviously really, like, it gave me anxiety the entire time. But I was, like, keen to, like, be like, hey, you know, like, it's been a while. It's been a year or two. Like, let's try to reconnect. She sat next to me and everything and stuff. And we actually ended up talking and sort of, like, there was a short time where we reconnected. And not in the same exact way as before, but, like, we just did. We connected, and she told me her dad had cancer. That's what she told me. That's her dad had cancer. And I was like, oh my God, that's so shitty, obviously. But I didn't know that he was dying.
Yeah.
So that part didn't connect with me. And she ended up, like, missing a whole bunch of days of school one day. And I was trying to, looking back, I didn't know how to deal with grief. And I didn't know how to, like, I've never lost anybody in my life that meant a whole lot to me. So I don't know how to deal with grief. And so I felt like I was immature handling the situation to begin with. Because all I wanted to do was hang out with her again because I was, like, being selfish. And like, I was like, yeah, here's this friend again. Because I missed her so much. I'm going to, like, really try hard to impress her.
Yeah, try to, like, have it go back to what it was.
Yeah, but at the same time was totally unaware that he was dying. Totally unaware.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, oh, he has cancer. Well, he's getting treatment. He'll be fine. You know? So he ends up, I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out where to just go. I want to skip all the stuff that we were just reconnecting. And all of a sudden she stops answering my texts, stops talking to me altogether. And I'm like trying to be the person who brings the casserole. Like, yeah. Like I'm trying to be that person to be like, what do you need? What do you need right now? What do you need somebody to drive him to and from the hospital, that kind of stuff. And she had other friends that would help with that and stuff. And she just kind of ghosted me towards that time, which I totally understand going through all that. And then I finally just, the immature, shitty-ass person that I was, I texted her friend at the time. I was like, Voldemort hasn't talked to me in a while. Does she hate me again? Like, I just need to know what's up. And she was like, she messaged me back like, how dare you message tonight? And I'm like, what? And she's like, we are literally at the hospital and her dad is dying right now and you're trying to start some shit. And I was like, sorry. Like, I just freaked the fuck out. And I was like, I tried backpedaling so hard. I was like, please. I did not mean to bring that up. I had no idea any of this was going on. Please don't tell her at all that I messaged you. This is not about me. This is about them. Like, please. I'm sorry. I'm going to fuck off right now. Like, that's basically the gist of the messages. And she ended up telling her anyway that I had tried to start some shit on her dad's deathbed. And, which, yeah. And I was so fucking depressed and hysterical during that night because I had fucked up so bad. And I knew that Courtney, well, I can say Courtney because Courtney is a way side character. She just basically fucked me over. on that whole entire situation by not telling me.
Yeah.
Or by not, she just relayed what I asked her to not relay, and then ruined that night for all of them. So that's kind of on her, not me. But I was in hysterics, and on top of that, the guy I was dating, Sweaty Carrot Fingers, he was there on the deathbed with them. Voldemort had invited him and told him to specifically leave me. Don't take me. She told him.
Oh shit.
She's like, yeah, my dad's dying, and I want you to be there.
Yeah.
Don't bring Bree, which is fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the person that I probably could have used that night because I fucked up wasn't there. He wasn't there for me because he was there for them. So that was a bad night. That was a really bad night because I felt like shit. I felt like a shitty ass person because I was convinced that it was me, that it was my fault that they were feeling that way. And apparently Voldemort's, I mean, this is allegedly from stupid grapevine shit. She still blames me for how shitty that night was.
Well, I mean, that is shitty, but ultimately, like, when people lose someone and they don't know how to handle it, like, being a person that's, like, lost my mom, you process things and, like, it's not okay, but that's just how which isn't good, like,
I know,
you.
It's fine for me now, like, looking back on it, I realize I fucked up in a lot of ways.
It's unfortunate on her end that she hasn't got the opportunity or, like, the help to actually grieve and figure out, like, really, why was that night awful? Was it you? No, it's because her dad passed away, you know, like,
and I'm sure she sees that now. I don't know. I'm not in contact with her. I think Voldemort just is doing her own thing now, and, like, I don't know. But so that was that, and I just want to talk about how I recovered. Recovery took a long time, dude. I mean, there was other things that she did to me later on in life. Like, a couple years ago, she tried to make sure that I wasn't going to get hired at certain places.
Oh, wow.
Like, and she was my neighbor briefly, which was hellish to see her all the time because it just brought back all those memories. And every once in a while, I still do see her around. She moved away, but she still comes down here every once in a while. And it's like, just seeing her glare at me, she's very angry still, which is really intimidating. And it's like, I just have to, like, roll with it, you know? And I'm fine with it. And so how I recovered was because she had a Facebook, and for the longest time I had her blocked, and blocking worked briefly until I realized when I unblocked her one time that she was making all of her posts public. And that was so bad for me because I felt the need to check up on her all the time because everything she was posting was public. Statuses,
that's the awful part
pictures,
about the Facebook.
Yeah.
Thing,
and I was like,
you can look up.
I was so mad about it. And so I've just deleted Facebook. And honestly, that's how I recovered. Deleting Facebook, I don't think about it. I don't care about it. You know, I'll see her, if I see her in public, it does make my heart race because I think about it.
Well,
and
it's like a major part of your life for a long time.
She was, you know, she was, she was a chapter.
Yeah.
And it just, but ultimately, I know the friendship will never, ever recover. It'll never be a thing. It'll never be a thing. I don't have any desire to try to make it happen again. Even if I do have fucked up dreams where I am friends with her again, I don't want to do it. It's not worth it to me. I think that we're two totally different people now.
Oh, for sure.
And we probably wouldn't be friends anyways, like, because we've changed so much.
Yeah.
And what I learned, that was basically what I learned, was, like, I would say, like, personally, it made me realize that I wanted to learn how to help future friends with grief. So I did a lot of research, and I've been super, super interested in learning how to be a good friend when somebody is grieving. So I've done a lot of research into that because I think that that's something that, I mean, we were all 18 at the time.
Yeah. So
none of us were equipped to lose a parent or to have a friend lose a parent. So it was rough. But, you know, that was my goal. And I'm still learning it. And I constantly am obsessed with learning how to provide grief counseling as a friend. Like,
well, and that's good too in the sense that like you had to grieve for this friendship you lost. So now having that, like grieving isn't just from death. Like death can also be like the losing of a relationship, a friendship, a job. Like you grieve for all of those things. So having that knowledge for other people, like that's a really good like thing to have for yourself to do, but also like you said, help them through it. And again, whether it's they're losing a friendship, a person, whatever.
Yeah, I had to grieve the friendship like for sure, and it was awful. But
yeah,
but ultimately, what I took from it was like, in order to be a better friend in the future, I need to learn to help friends that lose loved ones.
Yeah,
like when they're grieving, I need to be a good person and realize what I should and shouldn't say or do, and that kind of stuff. And that's kind of similar to what my other friend, I had to learn some stuff too. And thankfully, I'm just going to shout out Katie right now. Katie Hosner works at QBH in Clarkson, and she's a social worker. You should always be friends with social workers. They are the best people to be friends with. Because
I got some of those in my life.
Yeah, they're like the nicest people. They're so down to earth, and they're trained to handle trauma and death. And so when I met her, immediately found out she worked at QBH, and I was like, oh my god, I have so many questions. I want all the pamphlets because I need to know how to be a good friend. Like that was it was just like a godsend that I met her. I was like, yay. I mean, not yay talking about trauma and death, but yay, I have a resource.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I know it's cliche, but ultimately, like, time is the absolute, like, cure for all of that, for all of those wounds. I mean, they turn into scars, but time is obviously, like, the real solution to all of that.
I had to not only just, like, get rid of Facebook, but I had to let go of friends that weren't helping. They were easy access friends that had been through it, like that ex that I have, Sweaty Carrot Fingers. I kind of had to stop talking to him because after we broke up, he just started hanging out with her. Not like interested hanging out with her, but hanging out with her and her friends.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, I would hear through him the shit that she would talk about me. And that was toxic. Because that would just make me angry and, like, be like, well, I am not able to defend myself. So by not talking to him, not talking to the people that are friends with her, I was able to just fuck it, like, and I'm better. Like, this is the best that I've been since that's happened. And I can honestly say that. And it does also help, like, being down to earth about the situation, that it was just high school, And I know, like, you roll your eyes sometimes about it, but it was a pretty, like, devastating experience for me at the time. And so remembering how sad I was at the time.
Don't illustrate me as rolling my eyes about that situation.
Well, you do get tired of it.
That's a conversation for off the air, but
you do admit that I've gotten better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But I just mean, I never rolled my eyes about the situation. I've lost friends,
I've
too.
taken the steps to be able to stop talking about it, because there used to be times where I'd get drunk and that's all I'd want to talk about, and to no fault of my own, because the people that I was talking about it to knew her, and so that's bad. If I just,
and obviously drinking never helps a situation.
Doesn't help, yeah.
Drinking never. If you're grieving something, drinking is definitely
you lose all the inhibitions.
Fuel that you could put on a fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like, it's not.
Yeah, I just looked like a bitch.
Everything.
By the end of every conversation I had with other people, I just looked like a sad bitch. So I stopped doing that. And now I don't talk to the people about it anymore. If I ever see them in public, it's just going to be like, hey, how's it going?
And I have similar experience just based on a person I dated for 3 years who remained friends with all of my friends.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I would get drunk and talk about them, and they had moved on and they're married and they have a kid and they're, and so for like a year or so after, I had dated other people and still would just get drunk at their house and be like,
I was enabling myself though by staying friends with Sweaty Carrot Fingers. I was enabling myself because I talked to him about her, and I was telling myself this is a good way as an outlet because I'm not annoying you, I'm not annoying anybody else or embarrassing myself, and Sweaty Carrot Fingers knows the situation. So I'd go to him and I'd message him and be like, I want to talk about it, and I want to hear all the shit she's been talking about me. And he would oblige by that. And that was super bad.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't realize it until I finally was just like, is this the only reason I talked to him? And then I was like, oh, fuck. Well, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. Unless it's about stupid shit, which it usually is. Anyways, so that was that friend. I got rid of the friends that I was using as enablers, and moved on. I've moved on. I'm like, I still see her every once in a while, and it does, like, make my heart skip a beat. But that's because it's like, oh, I thought you moved. Why do you keep coming back?
Yeah.
Like, get out of my town. So
Ooh, I do hate that feeling when you see someone, like a person came into my work the other day anyways, she came in and I, like, couldn't breathe. My heart was beating so fast. And I was just like, I was like, oh, why are you?
Was it because there was drama?
Yeah, I mean, she may have been the person that slept with my husband. But it made me very nervous and scared when I saw her. I was like, I don't know what to do. And, you know, I got in that, like, fight or flight mode. And I see the same with, like, friends I see from, like, high school that we're just not friends anymore. But you get nervous. You're like, what do I do? Do I respond? Do I just say, hey, what, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me about, I got one more friend, but I want you to tell me about your first.
What are we at? Are we at?
We have time for your story.
Okay, I wasn't sure. So mine, well, like, I was going to talk about two. This might have to be a two-parter.
Yeah, we can continue on to do a two-parter.
Apparently this is going longer than we thought. When I was in college, the first person I made friends with was this guy, and we were in class together. We sat by each other at, like, an orientation, and so we hung out, and our dorms, so at the Art Institute of Seattle, they don't actually have dorms. It's just two apartment complexes, and ours, we were in two different ones, but we would hang out all the time. And I became super close with his roommate, too. So we were all really good friends. And then I became friends with this girl where we just clicked. Like, it was just one of those things where it was like, you looked at each other and were like, oh, shit, are we best friends? It just happened. Like, I don't even know, like, what it was or what the moment was. But she was from Washington and was from the Yakima area, which was different because being over there from the Valley in Seattle, like, everyone was already from Seattle. No, you know, and so there was just, like, weird little bonding things that we found and connected on. We watched the same shows, and we just became super close. So and to the point that, like, we had school together, we had multiple classes, we hung out every single day, we were always texting, we were inseparable for, like, a year. She got a job with me, and we worked at the same place, but, so that guy that I did have a little crush on him. He's just so cute, and I thought he was really funny, and he was so nice to me, and also he was such a good cook, and I just immediately, when I saw this man in a kitchen, I'm just like, whew, this is, if people cook, like, if a man can cook, I don't even care what they look like. Like, I'm like, okay, this is just too much for me. I just love you already. Like, yeah. Anyways, but we didn't really, like, we weren't meant to date. Like, we were friends, and we were meant to be really good friends, and he, like I said, he was my first friend there. So we all went to dinner with that girl and him, and they ended up dating, which at the time, like, I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, she knew I kind of had a crush on him, but then I looked back, and again, I was like, he's not the person I'm meant to be with. We're friends. Like, that's what we both want to be. And so it was super supportive, and then it became, like, all three of us were hanging out constantly. I'd go over to their house, they'd come over to mine, and then it was just all three of us would hang out constantly. And this went on for, like, a year. I brought her home. She, like, knew my friends. I went to her place, met her parents. Like, we became super close friends. And it was one of those things that I thought, wow, I just made a friend that I'm going to have forever. I was convinced that, like, she'd be my maid of honor. We'd have go through all these things together in our lives. And we were at a Halloween party. And I don't know how it came up, but we were all sitting out on my balcony, and someone says something like, oh, you and that guy, like, did you ever have a thing together? And I was like, oh, yeah, we made out once. But again, I don't think making out or, like, doing, like, if you're not dating and you're both single, dude, even if I would have had sex with him, it doesn't matter to me. As long as both parties are, you know, willing and in the right situation.
Consenting.
Yeah. So she was there and she looked at me and she was like, just shocked. She had no clue. And in my head, like, I assumed that he would have told her that. But also, I didn't think it was my place because I wasn't the one in a relationship with her. And that might have been wrong on my end. Like, maybe I should have been straightforward, but she had never asked me. It was never a concern. It was just not really a factor. It's like, yep, one night before we even knew her, you know, this happened. So she left the party. She was super upset, and I, you know, chased after her. We're both dressed in our Halloween costumes. It just looked absurd. And I'm chasing after her. I was like, why are you leaving? Why are you going? And she's like, I just have to go. I got to go home. I have to drive back to Seattle. So I thought, okay, that's fine. But then she didn't text me when she got home. We went to work the next day, and she wouldn't make eye contact with me, and she just kept leaving and was, like, crying. So finally, like, I got her to talk to me after, like, a week of this awkward turmoil at work, which really was like, the worst part is it was affecting, already it was our friendship, so I was super sad, which was then it's affecting both of our jobs and affecting the other coworkers that we were with. So it was just a huge jumble of craziness. But when I got to her talk, she just was so heartbroken and sad that she thought I betrayed her. She wasn't mad at him. There was nothing wrong on his part, but...
What's her nickname?
We'll call her Littlefoot, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case it comes up again.
So she told me, you know, she was like, I feel really broken and upset, and I feel like you betrayed me because you didn't tell me about you and my boyfriend having this history. And I kept trying to reassure her. It's like, it was a one thing. We were friends. Again, we didn't know you at the time. No one's trying to keep a secret from you. And that's what I told her. I was like, if you would have asked me, I would have been 100% honest. But it just seems so trivial.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't seem important in our relationship as friends. And I did tell her, I also figured, like, it's not my place to be going and telling someone's past. As far as, like, a sexual history.
That was for sure his responsibility. Yeah. And if he's dating her.
You know, exactly. That's how I felt. But she ended up quitting that job. So this happened, and then, like I said, it took like a week where it really got her to tell me, and within that week she quit. She got a different job. She stopped talking to me, and it just was like overnight our friendship was completely gone. And it was so hard for me because she was my closest friend in Seattle, and living there is just like, I went from not really having, I only had that one male friend. And then I made friends with his roommate, luckily, but I didn't have anyone else. And then she came along, and I had that bond of, like, a female who we connected with and spent, like I said, we were inseparable. We spent all of our time together. So for it to just end overnight is...
That's the worst.
It is. And I did the same thing. Like, I still look at her.
And you had no choice. These are people who broke up with us.
Exactly. In this situation, like... Exactly. Like, she chose to break up with me, and it was like, I was so devastated. And I tried to reach out to her. I was like, hey, like, we can fix this. Like, we can make it through. But she did not want, and she could not see it. And she was afraid, too, that if I still hung out there, that I would then try to, like, she thought I was only hanging out with her so eventually I could maybe steal Tyler away from her. I'm like, it's been 2 years you guys have been together. I've spent the night at your guys' house. Like, I text you all the time. Like, there's nothing at all. Like, I'm not even remotely, you know, and I had gone on dates with other guys and, like, kind of, you know, it's just, like, it's not like I was lusting after him and, like, chasing after him or texting him secretly or,
yeah.
There's a lot of things that was just so, it was
just roll your eyes.
Yeah, it's truly, it was, and I look back at it, I'm like, it's her feelings, and I was like, I have to respect that. That's just how she felt. And maybe in her sense, like, she was mad at him, but she didn't want to lose someone that she thought she was going to, you know, spend the rest of her life with. So it was...
She took it out on you.
Yeah, it went directed towards me. But I did the same thing as, like, I still actually look at her on Instagram. I always like her stuff.
Yeah.
Like, try to call... Because I am still sad over this loss of a friendship. And it's been 6 years since this happened.
This was Voldemort was my 6th year too.
Yeah,
and it's 6 years now, and I'm just over it because I haven't seen her in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've never...
And I don't have the social media, so I'm just suggesting if you want to move on.
Well, that's why, like,
But you seem like you have some hope that you might rekindle the friendship.
It won't. I've reached out to her, and, like, when they broke up, you know, I was like, oh, how's it going? Like, I've been thinking about you a lot. And just, you know, and I've tried to have
support.
and just be like, just know I'm still out there, you know? But it never will be, because now we've grown apart too far that I don't unless I were to move back, some really weird things would have to happen. Like, I've seen the direction she's gone in her life now. I've seen, like, mine. And I don't think we could be friends again. But I've just accepted that because, like you were saying, so I have, like, real love for my friends. So I'm like, I loved both of them.
It's a love.
So it was also losing 2 friends because then I couldn't still be friends with him, obviously.
Were you alone after that?
Yeah, like, it was just like, who do I text? Who do I go to? And so that was a lot of time living in Seattle, figuring out, like, who am I as a person without, you know, it wasn't like I could just be like, hey, let's go grab coffee. Oh, I just have to run to the grocery store. Do you want to walk there with me? I didn't have that anymore. I didn't have that person. So it was just figuring out how to spend more time alone. And I actually didn't look at her stuff on social media. I do it more now than I did before because I feel like I'm at a healthier place. That I'm sad, but I loved her and I understood that she was making that decision, because I have to think about it too. It's like, if I was in a committed relationship and dating someone and that happened, like, you tend to pick you're supposed to always pick your significant other side, you know, most of the time. Like, you want to support them, you're going to choose them. Mm-hmm. So I just try to now look back and be like, she chose him. And it is sad, and it's sad she picked him over a friend, but I also, like...
That's understandable.
I can understand it, and I just try not... Like,
I've done it before.
Yeah, you know, I've done it before, so, like, I just had to accept, like, well, this is what we're gonna do now. Like, she's not here. Like, it's not gonna happen, and...
I will... Despite what you think about saying that it's a healthy idea to keep looking up on her Instagram and stuff.
Oh, I don't think it's healthy. I'm just saying I feel healthier where I'm at mentally. Like, now I'm not looking at her, like...
Longingly.
Yeah, really. It's like, now instead of, like, being like, what is she doing? Why? Oh, look at her now. It's like, oh, look, she went on a vacation. Like, I'm happy that she's done that. Especially because, like I said, they ended up breaking up after, like, dating for 6 years. So now I'm just trying to be like, well, I'm glad that she's also coping with this.
Do you think that you want to be friends with her again?
On it, like, I would want to, but I don't think we can.
Okay.
But,
yeah. Cool. I'm going to talk really briefly about my last friend. Really briefly, because the friendship was a lot more brief than my other one. But it was still just as hot and fiery. Yeah, her nickname for this show is going to be Tap Dancer. She had a boyfriend, and when we first became friends in college, and this was after all of the Voldemort stuff had already happened. So she was kind of like my rebound as a friend, and she was a really good support, and I supported her through some other stuff that she was going through. And she was dating somebody who I had previously dated, and we were all cool with it, as far as I know. And so she basically left to go abroad and had something really traumatic happen to her, and she kind of like bamboozled me into promising to never tell anybody about it before I knew what I was promising.
Oh, that makes it hard.
And as soon as she told me what it was, which I thought she was like, I have something I need to tell you, and I need you to promise not to tell your boyfriend. At the time I was dating somebody, because she hated him. Looking back, I hate him too. But she made me promise this thing, and then she told me what it was, and I immediately freaked out because I immediately didn't know how to deal with the information. She wanted advice because everybody else who had given her advice gave her Hallmark cards advice, which is like, get well soon.
Yeah, just real generic. Yeah. Like, this is what I think you say in this situation.
Thoughts and prayers. So, and then I just wanted to, because I was her best friend at the time, I wanted to fucking go above and beyond to be there for her, because I couldn't be there physically because she was abroad. So, me being the desperate fucking bitch that I was, I just told my boyfriend at the time what had happened, and he was actually like really chill about it, gave me some solid advice because he had friends that it had happened to them too, and he's like, this is what you got to do, you know, like, and yada yada yada. And I mean, she was, without knowing that it came from him, she loved the advice.
Yeah.
She loved the advice. And then some other stuff happened. I ended up telling one more friend about the situation because she was almost in the situation again, which is really shitty. And, but it was happening in the moment. It hadn't already happened. It was happening in the moment. She was like, oh my God, like texting me in the moment about it. And I was freaking the fuck out, and I was at another friend's house, and this other friend who I trusted at the time, who I do not trust anymore, I was like, this is happening, oh my God, I need help, like, I don't know what to tell her and stuff, and she was like, oh, well, this is what you need to say, like, you need blah, 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 blah. She told me what to say, and again, my friend, tap dancer, totally took the advice and was like, thank you, that is some solid fucking advice. And I was just like piggybacking off of these other people's advice because I was not equipped at all to help.
Yeah.
And I felt like shit about it. So those are the only two people I told about the situation, and they ended up, one of them, the second one ended up, I'm almost 100% sure it was her, going behind my back because I told her after the situation, I was like, I wasn't supposed to tell anybody about this, and I told you because I was freaking the fuck out and I wanted to help. Oop, there goes our light. Lights out. And basically, tap dancer ended up finding out that I had told both of these people and immediately blocked me on all social media. Immediately. And then she decided to sick my ex, which is Sweaty Carrot Fingers, on me. She sicked him on me. Because he only had her side of the story. So he came after me and was, like, really pissed off. Like, how could you do this to her? She's your best friend. And, like, he talked so much shit down to me when I was already devastated that I couldn't explain myself to her. And because she blocked me. And that all this other stuff, like, I felt so in the dark and so alone because I didn't know who to trust. And that's probably how she felt, too, looking back on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to explain why I had told the two people that I told.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an overall shitty situation. There was at one point, like, just a whole bunch of drama went down that I'm not going to talk about on this podcast, at least right now. And, let's see. So she just blocked me, and I didn't get to talk to her until, like, a year later when she finally came back to America. And I saw her in a grocery store randomly, and I walked up to her, and I said, I'm sorry about what happened to you, and I'm sorry what happened between us. I'm glad you made it back home safe.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the only things I've said to her since she came back 2 years ago. And our friendship nothing has happened with it, which is fine. I don't think I could.
Okay with that one?
I'm okay with how it ended. I think that she wasn't 100% aware of the fallout that was created in America while she was over there.
Yeah.
Just like the shit because she sicked Sweaty Carrot Fingers on me, and some of the shit that went down at my apartment at the time was not good. Like, it was, like, cops were called, stuff like that. And, I ended up getting dumped by that boyfriend, too, that same year. So, yeah. That year was really, really shitty. I lived next to Voldemort when this happened, so that was still in this time period, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would just say, like, how I recovered was, I think when I actually saw her in person and got to apologize, that helped me out a lot. I'm glad that she stood there and listened to me, and she didn't say anything back. But at least standing there and acknowledging me while I said it was really nice.
You had a little time to, like, kind of say your piece and then
and that was good enough for me. Because I knew we weren't going to ever be friends again. Even though recently at a school event at the college that I went to, she did come up to me and talk to me a little bit, but I was so taken off guard by her walking up to me that I froze, and I probably looked like a bitch because I just froze.
Didn't know how to respond.
I didn't respond. I didn't know how to respond. So, anyways, I recovered just by apologizing, and, then having no social media helps too. She'd blocked me on all social media, so I never had a chance to, like, stalk her or anything, which is good. Thank you for blocking me. You did it for me, you know? And, what I've learned from that is, Like, trust is a huge thing that you need in friendships because without trust, yeah. I mean, I violated her trust for my own selfish reasons to give her good advice.
Yeah. You did it in the time thinking you were going to help. Or you were doing it to help her.
But it did end up helping her, I think, but I don't think she'll ever realize that, which is fine. It is what it is, and I just need to know that, like, with sensitive information, you can't just fumble around with it, and that was my bad at the time. Like, not to underplay what happened. I just feel like a shitty person all the time about both these friendships. And I realized some friends can really bamboozle you. Like, I was definitely the trust between that one friend that told her, even though she had no contact with her ever, she'd never been friends with her, she went out and contacted her, told her that I had told her, which was really shitty. And I'm pretty fucking sure that it was her. So you gotta know the people that you're friends with better before you tell them shit like that, I guess, is what I'm thinking. And also, don't make your friends promise something without them knowing what they're about to promise to.
Yeah.
Because she was like, you have to promise. And I'm like, okay, yeah, what is it? You have a crush on somebody? Like, and then it turned out to be this fucked up thing. And I was like, motherfucker, I don't know. Like, I'm like fumbling, like, I don't know. It was like a pop quiz. Anyways. So yeah, those are my two that are pretty, yeah. These were friendships that I didn't want to end, by the way. I still think about them a lot, but not in a malicious way, more of an introspective way, and just as another chapter in my life.
Yeah. And you can still look back and, like, you took away good things from that friendship. Like,
I think it's a good sign that my dreams, when I have with them, are very rarely bad. The dreams I have with them are usually us making up and hanging out. Like, that's the dream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like we're going to wrap up here, but since that was such a sad episode, why don't you tell me your favorite thing that happened this week before we leave, everyone?
Oh, you mean at my 9-to-5 job? I'm just kidding. It's more
something good. Whether to get Taco Bell, like something good happened this week.
Well, here's my something good. It just happened about an hour ago.
Ooh, what is it? Oh yeah.
I listen to Last Podcast on the Left religiously.
Yeah, they're the best.
I do, and I follow them all on the social medias because
Same.
I'm a fangirl.
You guys should all do it too.
Yeah, they're such a great show. I love them so much. I idolize them too much. But I drew a picture of Ben Kissel in a little tiny Geo Metro convertible because
he's one of the hosts.
Yeah, he made there was a reference to it in one of their most recent shows about Mark Twitchell, and if you find the episode and listen to it, you'll understand the reference. And if Derek would like to bring up a picture of it, could you find it on my Instagram and bring up a little picture of it? Because that would be cool for the viewers, but sadly the people on Spotify or iTunes listening right now.
You gotta go to the Instagram.
Yeah, I'll post it on our Instagram just cause. Just cause. Or you could find me on my regular Instagram if you want to stalk me, please. Also, what do we want our viewers? We haven't really gotten any emails. We've gotten a lot of feedback, which has been really great, and we continue to, encourage you to help us improve this podcast. But did you like the game today that we played? Did you like...
Wait, you didn't actually tell him, so you drew that picture. Did you say that he reshared it?
He did, yeah. Ben
there
Kissel,
he shared it
his
page.
On his Instagram.
That's the exciting part.
That's so exciting. Senpai noticed me.
Basically, a celebrity just, liked Bree's art, so she's
and then
basically...
reposted it.
You're basically famous now. You've made it in the world.
Pseudo-famous.
The art world.
The art world, even though my Instagram has very little artwork on it. But I will be making artwork, an artwork-specific Instagram eventually.
Nice. Yeah.
So I can actually sell art. Buy my art. I'm a starving artist. No, I'm not starving. I'm fat.
No.
But, yeah, so email us at friendishpodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear, give us your sad story about your ex-best friend. Like, what, do you think that, you were in the wrong or that they were in the wrong? And what did you learn from it? I want to know what people have learned from friendships exploding. I think that's a super interesting topic.
Yeah.
You have any more question requests?
Send us those dick pics.
Yeah, send us them dicks. Also,
and more fiancé applications for Bree. I want to read those.
Fiance applications?
Yeah, in the very first episode, you said fiancés.
Fiancés.
Like you have multiple.
Fiance.
There are a lot of Mormons in this area. We could be
Perfect.
polyamorous or polygamists. Both.
Yeah.
Anyways, one more thing. I can't remember I wanted to say.
Solid.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's my cue that I should shut up. Fine.
Make sure you look for this show and more at timespentpoorly.fun, Spotify, iTunes, and of course the YouTube.
Bye.